Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the General Purpose and Finance meeting on Monday, the 16th of September. Just a little bit of general housekeeping. We are not planning a fire alarm this evening, so if the alarm does go off, it is to be treated as the real thing, and we'll exit the building by the doors that you came in through at the front of the building, through the kitchen or the doors behind me. Welcome everyone, and we will start then with apologies for absence.
Yeah, we have got, I think everyone is here. Mother looks, oh no, yeah, all present. Sorry, yes, that's fine.
Lovely. Then declarations of interest.
Right.
No, I will actually say, although I don't feel that it is a bona fide interest, I will be leaving the meeting for the last item. I'll be recusing myself from participating. I will remind members, please keep it factual and do not share opinions. This is a public meeting, but there are members of staff that were present and there's members of the committee that were present that can give factual information to those members that weren't. And then we will move on to item 4 on the minutes, the agenda, which is public participation. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for public participation? Mr. Thwaites and Mr. Dalton. Councillor?
Yeah.
Public participation, is anybody wishing to?
Do you want to vote on that? Do you want to
I
vote?
don't know if we need it this much.
Well, we haven't got it, but that's all right. Yeah.
So I don't think we need a resolution.
Okay, fair enough.
No public participation at this point. Great, we'll move on to minutes. Are everybody happy with the minutes as attached?
I'm happy to propose acceptance.
And a seconder, Mr. Councillor Fraser. And then we will,
Yeah, just need a vote.
yeah, vote. So,
Majority. Yeah, majority.
Yeah.
2 abstentions.
2 abstentions. So then item 6, to receive finances.
Well, we're just going to go straight down to the town hall decorating ratified extra jobs.
Yeah, has everybody kept themselves up to date with that? Is everyone happy? That's cool then. That's, yeah, do you want to
Yeah.
put
I'm happy to propose.
seconder? Councillor Taylor, Councillor Westby, and a vote.
Unanimous.
Yeah. And then the, I'm scrolling through here, I guess what's going on. Quote for installing charging mechanisms for Queen Square public toilets. Sharon, would you like to?
Yeah, we got a quote from Healthmatic. They were recommended to us by Swaffham Town Council. So I contacted them to let you have a look at what the possible costs were, which were along the lines of what they actually said it might be. So the quote is for 1 site survey, a booster aerial supply and installation, combined coin pay and contactless payment unit, because you wanted to have cash card, and the payment unit installation as well. So that came to a total of 8,350.
Do members have any comments?
I mean, I didn't know whether you wanted me to get 2 further quotes, but knowing that this is quite a specialist, I can search, but
Do members have any comments? I know we do generally like to receive 3 quotes. We don't have to, but we generally do try to. But like the clerk said, this is a specialist thing. She might struggle. So I'll take Councillor Dalton, Thwaites, Bertram. Westby, yeah.
Yeah. I would like to try for these 2.
Councillor Thwaites.
You said the guys at Swaffham recommended.
yeah,
They much about anybody else said approach, so they found it difficult or.
they
Yeah,
did,
those
I
quotes.
must say she didn't mention that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when I was looking for, like, when obviously we were looking at mending the toilet and looking at door mechanisms and all sorts to do with the toilet, the company that actually built our toilet might have been able to do it, but they've gone out of business. And funnily enough, practically the only company that I came across was Healthmatic. So when I saw that name, I thought, oh, they're practically the only one I could actually try. But there may well be other companies because I'm putting in a different criteria now. So I could put in the criteria for, like, you know, coin operated machinery.
Great, I think for that, exactly the same. Yeah.
Councillor
I
Westley?
think we need to get further quotes. I think we seem to run the 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'd like it deferred.
There must be other companies. It's not got to be a specialist toilet. It could be any sort of automatic entry.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe if we don't just look for toilet
Yeah.
companies, maybe if we
look
look
for
broaden the horizon just for,
Yeah.
so,
Fine.
Councillor Tyler?
Yeah, just following up on this, I mean, in terms of transparency, if you've got evidence that you tried to get as many quotes as possible, and we've had it in the past, that you tried to get through things, it never happens. But
Yeah.
I think for public transparency that we endeavour to do as much as we can.
Yeah.
To get those quotes, we might not come back, that's not our fault.
Yeah.
We try and follow the policy of trying to get through.
Yeah.
So,
Councillor Fraser?
Maybe it's worth asking Swaff. They may well have got 3 quotes themselves. They might be able to put this onto other people.
So then if we look to defer this till next month's meeting in the
That's fine.
view of seeing if we can obtain some other information, is that okay? Is
Yeah,
everyone
that's
happy with that? Do you want to vote on that, Sharon? Would you like that as a
Uh,
proposal?
Well, no, just
No?
no, I'll just go away and do it, shall I?
and if you can't get the quotes, you can get the quotes.
No.
No, and then, but we can then deal
Yeah,
with that
at
in the
least,
next
yeah,
meeting.
that's right.
Okay, that's fine. So, C, PA system, amended quote.
Yeah, I mean, the original quote was something in the region of 8,000, wasn't it? And then now that you've asked for 7 microphones, as opposed to 15, that has gone down to 5,184. And that is the service that you wanted. You preferred that company and you liked what they were offering. So I'm asking for a vote now for, you know, just to approve the amended quote, which is obviously about £3,000 less.
It is something that's going to make it better for our residents, it's going to make it better for members of the public that come along. Councillor Taylor?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's not just these meetings, and sometimes, you know, some of us are quite loud, some of us are a little bit more quiet. And so it would be a benefit to these meetings, but also we have other meetings like the public forum, and actually the first public forum we had, so many people attended, it was very hard to hear from the back and there was a little bit of criticism. And I think, you know, we are a professional body, we should be conducting our business or any activities like that in a professional way. And you need to be able to cater for large scale groups and attendees.
Yeah.
And also there is occasions where community groups and organisations do need PA equipment. And I know that sometimes, you know, Grandad's offered the Legion his PA system because they haven't been able to secure one themselves. And I think if the town council had that, it may even be when we have meetings in here, if we have board meetings or conferences or stuff like that, that actually on our booking form, we can say for an additional, you know, £10, £15, whatever, this I'm pulling that number out of my hat, but
Yeah.
we could look around and actually say, if you want to hire, you know, this equipment,
Yeah.
it's available. And then we can try and reclaim some of that money so that it's not, you know, an expense without income. And we could actually maybe recover some of that cost. It would probably take a long time to recover it. But actually it is then something that could have wider use.
So for transparency, I will just for members of the public watching at home, and for those here in the room, the reason we are not considering 3 quotes here this evening for this item, the reason there is only 1 quote tabled is because this committee has already dwindled it down to this company at a prior meeting. So if Councillor Taylor, would you make a proposal
Yeah,
on
I would
this?
like to propose that we accept the quote provided, but seek to do some cost recovery with higher
Councillor
arrangements.
Dalton, are you seconding that? Can I have a show of hands, please?
Yeah.
Unanimous.
Okay, great.
Great. Item 6D, quote for updated alarm system for the chapel. The club did circulate this. So hopefully members have seen it.
Yeah, sorry, it isn't with the papers, but it came very late, didn't it, at the weekend? So we haven't really had a chance to get that up on the website. But it is actually for First Connect, and it's £826.60.
And again, the reason there is just the one, because this is the company that we've been working with on our alarm system. So this is just something extra that we've asked them to add in. So that's the reason why this is the only figure here this evening and not 3. Again, for transparency for everyone. Is there any comments from the floor? No, everybody happy with that quote? Councillor Tyra and Councillor T Taylor. Show of hands, please.
Yeah.
And again, that's
Unanimous.
unanimous. And then we'll go 6E, Royal British Legion Poppy Appeal. Sharon?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't have an amount as such. This is something that you do annually, I believe.
It is.
So-
I think it's normally 200.
250?
Yeah,
250?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody can have a proposal for that. Councillor Taylor, Councillor Tyra. And that's £200.
250.
250 to the Legion. And let's show of hands, please.
Yeah,
And again, that's
unanimous.
unanimous. So item 7 is the non-adopted road to the rear of the town hall. The consideration and resolution. I know you've been working quite hard on this, Sharon. So would you like to?
Yeah, I mean, just to clarify, because it all got very complicated, and it was, you know, where we are now is that the car park has had approval to be tarmacked. And I think that cost is 29,500. We've also approved a quote for a path which leads from the back here down to Queen's Road, and I think that was for 4,850. So I did inquire for an estimate. It was only an estimate for how much it would cost to do the remainder of the unadopted road that nobody owns. And I think at the last meeting, the only reason I put that on is just to consolidate where we are with things. I will just go back to that. So I got an estimate of 9,000 for the remainder of the road that the town council perhaps shouldn't be expected to foot the bill for that to the taxpayer, because there are lots of people backing onto it who property owners, and I think you have agreed that we will approach all of the property owners by letter. So I just wanted to make sure that was still okay with you. Paula, in the meantime, has worked on getting the addresses. So if obviously you say that's okay to go ahead, we'd like to approach the owners, but the wording I haven't prepared yet.
Councillor Taylor, any other members wishing to speak? No, Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm pleasantly surprised by the figure of £9,000. That is not as much as I was expecting it to be from Queen's Road to the back here.
Yeah.
I'm pleasantly surprised with that. Having been in a taxi with Councillor J Taylor when he came to the EGM last month. It was a very bumpy ride. It was quite uncomfortable. And I know that we have users of the town hall using these facilities regularly, every single Tuesday, and probably on other occasions, that will have that quite unpleasant experience. Councillor Bertram's probably quite aware of it with his service users. Yeah, and the events that he hosts here in the town hall. But I do feel that before we can make a commitment to that spend, we need to establish who, if any of our neighbours, would want to or be willing to make that contribution.
And I feel like we don't want to put the horse before the cart. So I think before making an agreement for the spend, I think ought to be deferred.
Yeah.
Until we've received responses and consulted the neighbours, because I just think for us to use that money for something that we have no responsibility for, like, do you know what I mean? It would, don't get me wrong, it would make the access to the town hall much more pleasant.
So
Yeah.
I just have a couple of comments to make on this. We are putting the path in. I will come to you, the path. So that will give the users here that use mobility scooters to come in, and I know we do have a few, much better access. I can totally understand where Councillor Taylor's coming from with the vehicle, and we have a bus actually that comes in
That's
on a
what we're
Tuesday
referring
that
to.
brings a lot of elderly residents into the building on a Tuesday, a little mini bus. I just wonder, how are we going to approach the residents? Because obviously we can go to them all and say it's £9,000 and we're looking for you all to chip in. How much is the council prepared to chip in? Are we going to split it equally and we'll pay our piece along with all the other businesses and residents that use it? Or are we going to put £1,000, £2,000, something in, maybe a slightly larger amount, and split the remainder between the other residents and businesses? I just think we need to nail that down before we write to residents, because residents are going to want to know what the financial implication is from the get-go. I'm going to go Councillor Tyra, Councillor Thwaites, and then Councillor Bircham. Councillor Tyra?
Thank you. It's a real grey area. There's no doubt about it. On fundraising, last year as well, in conversations. I'd quite like to defer this another rethink. I think there's a number of issues. Absolutely, no, we are a public asset, and we should provide accessibility for everyone to get here and park and what have you. But complications here, you've got residential issues, not issues, sorry, opposite back. If they're happy, why should they spend any money? I'm guessing, I don't know. But yes, to improve it, absolutely, I get them. But I think there's a number of steps we need to go through of how's it going to work? Are those costs correct? That footpath sounds.
I like what Mary's put in. My concern is that £9,000 is too low. It's going to be a very shoddy job.
Yeah.
And it's going to break up, and we're going to have to take responsibility.
So I'm just going to jump in before Councillor Thwaites and Bircham, and I will apologise for my rudeness. The company that quoted this are the company that done Gamers Car Park for us. So, and obviously that was done many years ago now and is still in really good repair. And they also done the piece of car park for us outside public toilets some years ago. So I think the cost is probably lower because they're already going to be on site doing the much larger piece of the car park. Whereas if this was a quote we were going for individually just for that little bit of drive, it may well have been much higher than that. But just for that clarity. But Councillor Tyra, are you finished, or would you?
Well, I'd just like to say, rather than rushing into it, making decisions tonight, I'd like to just pause, review, make sure we're happy, as you say, consultation with the residents. What's that look like?
Yeah, well, that was why I
so-
wanted to try and nail
so,
that little
yeah.
bit down this evening so we could go to the residents. I didn't want us to make a decision on the driveway this evening, but maybe how that figure of £9,000 could be put to the residents. Councillor Thwaites?
Do you know roughly number of people be approaching at all? I mean, I like the idea of us contributing and
Yeah.
sort of pitching in, but how many people do you think we might be approaching? Got an idea?
There's 5 houses at the rear. There's 7 flats as you come up the lane on the left-hand side, and then you've got the back of the businesses which are fronting onto the square, and then you've got to the left of us as well.
Okay.
And the houses on Queen's Road access it, don't they?
Oh yes, sorry, and also those which is
So there was
numbers
quite a few houses.
Yeah.
26 to 23 of those houses. Yeah, So it's a fair few.
I'll just go to councillor Bircham and I'll come back to you, councillor Tyra. Councillor
Obviously,
Bircham.
you've got the initial responsibility, of course, it's up to cost element of that.
Yeah.
Needs fixing or what harm funding, who will be liable. Would the residents expect us to be liable for that? Because we initially,
Yeah.
I think if,
Okay.
yeah, I think if we, how we would word it again, like, just like this multi-agency clearance we've done with the culverts recently and we've chipped in, that this is a one-off and will be looked and reviewed later on. Councillor Taylor and then Councillor Tyra.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think what we could do, I know it would be nice to give an indication of figure of money.
I would say it's £9,000. The most that I would like the town council to commit, I think, and I'm using this as a bit of a basis, is £5,000 because that's what we award in a grant. So if you think of it in kind of that kind of scope, we'd award £5,000 as a grant. £5,000 is, do you know what I mean? Almost half of the works. So it's kind of match funding it, if you like.
Yeah.
But I am just, pulling that out of the back of my mind. I think in the first instance, without committing a sum, we could say, just write just a very laid back letter to the residents saying, look, we've noticed that the unadopted road is in a state of, disrepair. We are considering, making some improvements. Would you be prepared to make a financial contribution to the benefit of, this locality or something, and just see what they come back with?
Yeah.
A small financial contribution. I just think put the feelers out.
Councillor.
I mean, when, the people who moved into the house at the back and whatever, it would be in their leases or, their contract or mortgage or what have you, in terms of it's not an adopted road. These are your responsibilities. So it's getting very legal, it's getting very difficult. But I totally agree with you in terms of a soft letter going out there saying, we want to improve this. The town hall is a community asset. We want to make it accessible for all. We want to make it easy. We want to improve your situation as well. And just follow that conversation through. I think putting figures out at the moment is not going to be helpful. I think it's one principle, it's a concept. Drive through what their legal responsibilities are, if there are any. I don't. And also ours.
Yeah.
And then we've got sound footing to have a conversation. And I'm not unhappy with council, no pavement, no people writing this down. Of this is community asset, we can improve the accessibility. We can have voting, or can you have a consultation? So,
Councillor Dolan.
Okay, just two items. Can we, if we're going to have the whole lot done, can we make sure that the delineation between the pathway and the driveway? And the other one would be, can they guarantee what weight limit the service would?
Yeah.
Survive?
All right, some interesting comments. I'm just going to come in on some of Councillor Taylor's comments. I think when we speak to the residents, and maybe we can have them in and have a little chat with them. I think having the driveway done is going to benefit everyone, the businesses and the residents. It's probably going to add value to their resale, their properties, because when people come and view it, a nice spangly road is probably more appealing than a pothole-ridden gravel driveway. But Councillor Taylor's points on match funding, in that area, maybe we should 50-50, like take the £4,500. I appreciate you say we award up to £5,000, but I'm not adverse to a 50-50 split, and then the residents take the other 50% on board. I know obviously before we commit to doing the path, we have to get the permission of all the businesses that are along here. So although we've agreed that spend, that can't actually progress until we've spoke to all of the businesses to make sure they're happy for that to happen. But I'm happy for it to be deferred for us to contact the residents. Is there a proposal around any wording, or Councillor Tyra? Just on the word, any indication for the clerk to go away with?
Okay, what I would suggest off the top of my head, please town clerk and councillors, members, but top of my head, we're looking to improve the road and footway infrastructure on Queen's Road to the back of the town hall and the other properties, and we would like to engage a conversation with you in terms of how this comes back.
Yeah, because it has to be a collaboration. It cannot happen without their buy-in. And I think maybe if we can just jig that in there somewhere, Councillor Tyra, are you happy for that? Councillor Thwaites?
Saying, looking, not saying that we're investigating.
Yeah.
Considering, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Let's be nitpicky then, gents. Councillor Taylor?
Yeah, just because I think like things like this, where access is concerned, it can become a sensitive subject. Can I just say, we've gave Sharon Steinway, she's more than qualified and capable of putting something together. If we let Sharon draft something and maybe just bring it out to the committee members prior to it being sent to final approval, or rubber stamping if you like, and see what,
Is everybody happy with that, Councillor Thwaites?
Very good question. We've got to get permission. I take it if someone says no, that's it.
It would be awkward.
Okay.
But one would hope they wouldn't say no, because yet again, it is
they?
improving access to their
Do
properties.
they have to agree to start?
Not really, it's unadopted. So
It's courteous of us.
So it's not a requirement, it's courtesy again.
It's courteous for us to say we're going to be, because obviously they won't be able to access the rear of their buildings while we're doing that work. Councillor Tyler.
So, I mean, it's an interesting discussion, and it could go on to but as you say, you put a footpath in, it's like, okay, who's responsibility is it? Because highways not going to adopt it, it's not adopted. And it is back to, like train stations, you put salt in, you slip. You get sued, you're trying to do something. I think we just need to think through it. The principle, totally agree. Don't get me wrong, any shape, way, form. But we need to think carefully about how it's going to work. Who's the instigator? Who's taking liability?
Well, I think for the past, we are. For a pathway, I think that liability and that responsibility and that maintenance and upkeep, we have said because obviously we want to be able to get disabled and like residents and elderly users into the hall. So I think we've bit the bullet and we've already committed to that. Councillor Dalton.
Thanks. Quick question about drainage then. If the driveway and the pathway went through, is there actually a drainage going?
I think that
He's
we
looked
leave
at
that to them.
soakaways, hasn't he?
Yeah, the company will address all that. That's something that I wouldn't be qualified to tell you, but they would.
But there was drainage. He actually brought that up when you spoke to him, didn't he?
Yeah, but more so on the car park really. But obviously he has looked at all the particular drainage covers and who they belong to as we went down and looked at the path. Yeah.
Okay, so Councillor Taylor.
just to bring the conversation to close. Can I just propose that Sharon proceeds with this letter to residents? As recommended by members.
Proceeds with engagement and we'll bring it back to the next meeting, yeah? Yeah, Councillor Tyra seconds that and a show of hands. Unanimous.
Thank you. Yeah, that's fine.
Town market, town hall improvements, update on town hall improvements, item 8.
Just to say briefly, the decorating of the outside has been finished and we've posted the pictures online just for people to see. It looks really smart. The updated alarm system will be put in on Friday the 20th. I haven't got any dates from the door company or the kitchen company yet, so I will chase that this week. We sort of need to think about any areas upstairs that need decorating as well. I think we can't really look at decorating the inside if we're still doing works down here, but there's no reason why we can't look up there to decorate whatever needs doing. So some of the walls are a bit grubby, but they don't need a great deal, so nothing major, I don't think.
Thank you for the update. Item 9, Town Market Matters, the consideration and resolution. Sharon, I'll hand over to you.
Do want to
Oh,
say Helen over
yeah.
there.
So firstly, I just want to congratulate all of the town council for how well the Thursday market is currently going. It is thriving. The footfall in town on Thursday was magnificent. I think there's still a lot of scope to build on this. And two things that I'd like to consider is firstly, a Christmas market. And the second thing is introducing a monthly farmers market and or crafters makers market. Hopefully on a Saturday afternoon. So I've been doing a little bit of research, looked around at what other dates other local towns do their farmers markets or craft markets, because you wouldn't want it to fall on the same day. Have been looking at potential stall holders that we could approach and engage with. But I really feel that there needs to be, a consensus that is something that we'd want to progress with. And I do wonder slightly if if it was a farmers and or makers market, if it was on 2 separate days or if it was one combined event, one Saturday a month or something, I think that, that could be done here because it's like a rolling thing. But I actually wondered, we've recently established a working group for events, and I wondered if a Christmas market might be something that working group wanted to pick up. And actually there's plenty of time to do it because there's loads of crafters all over Facebook saying in the East Anglian markets, stalls, events, fetes, chats, all saying, is there any local Christmas markets that we can attend, please? They're all looking for somewhere to go. So I think if we knuckled down, there's time to do something great.
I totally agree with that. I think what would be useful, St Mary's have got their market, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
That's during the summer. So straight away you've got something based there with mention of saying you want to.
That's a fantastic idea.
Christmas market or other things, try and keep it 12 months.
Yeah.
If the church just wants to do it during the summer.
Well, they do theirs on Saturday as well, don't they, when they do theirs?
So back to this events committee, it's just joining everything up.
Yeah.
It's not trying to take over, it's like how can we do things better, coordinated, more efficient.
Yeah.
That everyone benefits,
So
totally agree.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Any comments? No, I just have a couple. I like Councillor Tyra's thinking that maybe even if the church want to do it, or even if through the summer, that we open up the square and stuff and then it's throughout the town. Yeah, and we support the church, we fill the churchyard up, and then any overspill can come out into the square. If the church are happy to work with us on that, I think that's amazing. But I also want to ask, are we going to carry on to get these things established and built up like we do already with our Thursday market? Is it your view that we won't charge, like we don't charge now, we won't charge?
It would very much be my view that we do not charge, just because I think it is for the little bit of time that it might take our caretakers to set up pitches, and a lot of those people come to craft markets and stuff, they'll have their own setups. So actually it won't cost a great deal at all in time and resource, but actually the footfall that it brings into the town. Now, I hope that most of you monitor the town council's Facebook page, and you'll have seen they recently shared a post from someone that posted to one of our community pages about the fact that they'd come into town for the market,
And while they were here, they went to Perkins for some sausages, they went to Susan's for some craft supplies, they went to the Hideout for a breakfast, and they had a lovely like experience all round. And that is what we want our market to do. We want it to draw people in, to increase the footfall, and then that will support our high street and keep our high street thriving.
So give us a proposal, councillor.
That we absolutely do not charge for pitches, but that we do explore a farmers and craft market, that we work with the church to see if there's scope to actually add to and collaborate on what they're already doing, and that we delegate to the newly established events working group
Is there
a project for a Christmas market.
Go on then.
I love it through the town square. It was fantastic. I mean, it's like the design for it. Are we planning ahead for the poorer months? Are we going to try and leave it where it is and protect the grass? Because I think if we move it back, I think it will have its impact.
I agree with you on that, councillor Waits. I think it would only be in the months when it's wet, when it's hard and frosty. I don't think that that's quite an issue. I would like to take this opportunity though to say we have a road closure order for the market. We need to use that. If it comes back onto the hard standing through the winter, and even if it goes onto the hard standing in the summer, if it's wet, we need to implement that road closure, because I watch cars come in, especially to go to the fish stall, and it is dangerous. It is dangerous. So when and if that issue is is put into place or needs addressing, we need to implement that road closure
and close it off completely.
Yeah, because we have it. There is a road. There is an order there for the Thursday, because it is dangerous for those shopping. It's dangerous for those that are like the traders themselves. So that is a separate issue. But I totally agree with your comments about weather. And I see your hand is up for another one. Or are you seconding Councillor Taylor's proposal?
Taking a side step to the right or the left, Joe. The tablet of doom that is next to the bus stop. Can we use that in any way for promotions of things like the market?
Sorry,
We are in talks with Brackland Council at the moment, and their comms team are actually trying to find out how we access that, because theoretically we should be able to. That was part of the gift of us taking it, but the comms team at Brackland are now trying to find actually how we do it.
Because if we have to move the market back with the conditions, then we ought to be shouting from that thing, don't forget the market on Thursday, because people will drive past it all this.
So Councillor Taylor has a proposal. Councillor Thwaite is seconded. Can I have a show of hands, please? And that's unanimous.
And can we, on the tail end of that, can we just please explore something that might be able to help with the grant providing for it to stay on Green Square in the months? Not as part of the proposal.
You can get the gridding and stuff. So,
Say that again, sorry, writing.
Can we just try and see how
you can get gridding.
protect the grass in the winter?
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Because it would be a shame to move it, especially when it's got so much. event. Okay.
Yeah, I got that,
All right then. Item 10, station road resurfacing option, car park charging and or enforcement for consideration and resolution.
Because I've got that on the agenda, because obviously we've given the order to the company to do the tarmacking, and I think obviously first off we need to, I have been in touch with a couple of the clubs just to let them know it will be done in due course, and I haven't got a date yet, but at the same time, once that work is done, we need to sort of like really think about a proper car park charging.
So I have comments
not policy, but how we're going to actually work it.
Councillor Tyra does.
I'm not expecting you to give us a decision.
No,
tonight,
but
it's
just
on the
have some
agenda.
comments. Let's have some, while it's here, let's have some comments.
Yes, I don't think we should make a decision tonight. I don't think we can make a decision over the next few months. I think suggested, I know I've been banging on about this, and I'm hugely responsible for the inactivity of this, the car parking strategy. And I think we've agreed it'll go through the ANP and meet on Thursday.
I think we've agreed now
think
it's on for the ANP, haven't we? Or is it ADP? No, not ADP. Or
I
sorry,
think
is
we
it
agreed
ADP?
to look at it within the scope of the AMP review,
Yeah,
but
But well,
but
two things,
but we have
it's very interactive. So the AMP is policy, ADP is implementation. So, you know, there's a link in and what's happening is things have been decided mutually exclusive, like Queen's Square Car Park. No, I don't necessarily disagree with it. But I think if you're within the strategy of what's happening, what's going to happen in this, then it's back to this evidence base. It is back to there's some logic to this. This is what's going to happen. This is you know, car usage is going to go up. People are not cycling, or walking, and if not, why not? What can we do to encourage more people to walk and cycle and go to school and everything else? Sorry, being a boring planner and transport planner, it's a lot more complex than saying we're going to charge a car park.
So, well, I'm going to probably be really controversial here because we have already committed to resurface the football club car park. So that ship has sailed because we have committed to do it. The enforcement on it, I'm just going to say today I witnessed the company that we pay to go in and cut the hedges enter the football club driveway. So I'm assuming they were there to cut the hedges today.
Yeah.
There was at least 8, maybe 9 cars parked in that driveway. That actually meant the company we paid to be on site today could not cut that hedge. Now, we are partly responsible for that as a council because you could argue Friday, before the grounds team finished work, knowing the company was coming today, should have coned that area off and taped it off so no one could park there. So the company could come in and do their jobs, because I'm assuming it is going to cost us more to have them back to do it again.
they did.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
people don't pay attention. People just want to park where they park.
Yeah.
It's the station car park.
Yeah.
So the leaflets to the residents or the clubs
Yeah.
are irrelevant.
Yeah.
But so we are partly to blame for that because it should have been blocked off. But it's now going to cost us to have that company come back to do that again. So, and you're quite rightly so, there is a commitment from the district council to recoup or recover some costs on car parking. So there will be charge. That is, there will be. It's that bit is non-negotiable. What is negotiable and going out to consultation with the market towns and the residents is how those parking charges are implemented, how many hours are free, what the costs will be, if market days will have longer periods free, if Sundays will be free or a set rate. That is the consultation that Breckland are putting, how that management works, not the fact on whether or not there will be charging, because the point and thing is there will be charging, which will mean if we have a nice spangly car park, it will attract residents, commuters, people to park there. It is a considerable amount of money we are spending on this car park. So I would just remind members of that. Councillor Tyler.
I don't disagree with that. If you recall, many moons ago, we looked at car park. The only, I'm going to put this out there. I was one of the instigators of road price in the UK because the only way to reduce car usage is through pricing mechanisms.
Say that again, sorry, Ed.
No, I'm not saying.
The only way to reduce car movements is to charge people to park. It encourages them to use public transport.
I get you.
It's pricing mechanisms. So morality of don't use the car to affect the environment or safety and what have you. Systematically, it's shown it to them. As individuals, when it comes to pricing, it does work. So the principle and concept, I totally agree with. Because that's where people start thinking, do I want to do this or don't? And yes, you know, improving infrastructure costs money, where's money coming? if we want low taxes, you get low services, basically. So I totally agree with you. I'm just in my head trying to work out how best to do this and why the strategy rather than just being, we've done Queen Square, we've done this.
Well, we haven't done anything with Queen Square. Let's just like
Well, I see
look in this room. Yeah.
I say collectively as a community and as a region or different councils region. We know what's going to happen, and we know where it's going to go on the King's Table. So I don't disagree with them in shape way. It's just let's go on books in the
Councillor Thwaites?
I said donkey's years, that's a huge loss of money, that parking area, because we're not utilising it. I totally agree, you've got to do it. And we've got to accept that we are being charged for it. My concern would be, how we enforce it.
You put in for an enforcement order, and we probably could tap in and contribute to the parking officers' fees.
If the money coming around every day,
Yeah.
excellent, I'm fine happy with that.
Councillor Taylor?
Yeah, I was going to say,
I think the charging, the concept of charging, moving to a charging model, we need to. I think it'd be very silly of us not to, especially when the adjacent car park charges. So, you know, if we've got a car park that's of a similar standard immediately next door that's free, I feel like that'd be quite foolish, because where is everyone going to park, and where's it going to get the wear and tear? And who's then going to have to pick up the cost for that repair? So I am very much in favour of a charging model. The implementation of that is going to take a long time, because to get the consultation done, which we would inevitably have to do, and then to get the parking orders through, it's probably going to be 18 months, if not longer. So there's no point in trying to kick this down the road too long. I think if it's a commitment of, are we yes or no going to move to a charger model? I here tonight would say yes. Very similar to the district. What does that look like? That's going to take us some time to establish. And actually, I think it would be very wise for us to wait until the district have done their consultation, because I think ours would get lost in theirs if we were to try and move forward with it before then. And actually, then we can tap into the results of their consultation and kind of see what the feeling was, what the consensus is, and also how they then move forward, because obviously the details of that implementation hasn't quite been worked out yet, and won't be for some time until the consultation is done, which I think goes live the end of October, November, something like that. We could then approach them and talk to them about the actual enforcement. Could we part fund an enforcement officer or make a contribution? They don't have to be working every day. They go around a couple of days a week. When people start getting tickets, they'll soon realise. So, and that will be the deterrent. You don't have to have an officer working every single day putting tickets. Just if you have them on a rotation, so that people, you know, can't pick up a habit. Oh well, Wednesdays we're fine because he's not around. But I think to get the in principle agreement, fair enough. Yeah, I would propose that we move to a charging model, or seek to pursue a charging model. But I think the actual anything outside of that, that's going to take a lot of time, and we're not going to be able to do that here tonight.
So Councillor Tyler and Councillor Westby,
Well, I was going to make a proposal, which I think you've always said, that I think conceptually and in principle, we do need to look at a charging model for parking, looking forward to the next 10, 20, 30 years. We do need to do that, because all this costs money. And we need to work through the details. So if you want to move, rather than kicking the can down the road, say, if you want to make a decision tonight, whether you want to propose it, Councillor Taylor, or me, it's like, in principle and conceptually, we do need to look at this.
Okay, well, I'm going to take Councillor Westby's comments before we go to vote, and Councillor Thwaites.
We certainly need to charge, because it obviously costs a lot of money to service the car park. We need to recoup what we can. The obvious charging model is to match the cost of the station car park. So if it's less, everybody will use that car park, if it's more, everybody will use it.
So thanks.
I echo exactly what Councillor Westbury just said, but also what's the volume we've got to look at on the plan, what's the volume we're looking at as a maximum? Do we know?
How many spaces?
Not really, because now that they've got the job, they will now start getting measurements done, so I have come.
Interesting to see what sort of potential we've got there.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, Councillor Westbury, Price.
So I'm very similar to everybody else. I think that if we can make a commitment tonight that yes, we are going to charge, because the fact of the matter is the contractor, when they start this work, will need to put all of the stuff in place, because it will be cheaper to have them put all of the stuff in place for charging at works commence than it will to have them come back and do it. So obviously, whilst it is public money and it is going to be a lot of money, it just makes sense to get everything in a row now. So, and then do the consultation. But I think is that what you was proposed, or Councillor Tyler?
That's just something notice me now. We've got to think potentially 4,000 houses are going to be built, and the rail station is the hub. Now, assuming people from 2, 3, 4 miles, which is reasonable with the suit, on the drive to the station, they want similar to that car park. The station car park, I don't think would be big enough. With the hinterland as well, Rocklands, Haringey, everything else. So we need to be thinking of the future. Now, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. But I think as long as we consider that's what we're doing, it's not a knee-jerk reaction, it's like, what is it going to be like? There's meant to be a station there as well.
Yeah.
You know.
So Councillor Tyler, is your proposal that yes, we look to charge and the clerk goes away and we look to consultation from this point on? Seconder for that proposal, Councillor Thwaites, show of hands. And that's unanimous.
Wow, okay, thank you very much.
So then, can I have a proposal and a seconder for public participation, please? Well, we always used to. Oh, okay, we don't adjourn it anymore. There you go. Well, we've done it anyway.
Well, let's do it then.
Yeah.
let's do it.
So that was
Keep them happy.
Fraser and Dalton. Oh.
Yeah.
Show of hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Anyone? Leslie?
Going back to 16 about the toilets.
Yes.
South Norfolk District Council just had payment meters put on the toilets over at Loddon, because they have a lot of vandalism over there. Would it be worth trying to contact South Norfolk and see who put theirs in?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I will do
Yeah.
that. Yeah, thank you very much,
Definitely.
Leslie.
6C, the PA system, does that, I'm sure, presuming it does because everything seems to, does that link to the new hearing aids?
Well, we have a
Well,
hearing
that's
aid
included.
facility.
I'm
there.
sure he will get it linked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently that's what those microphones are for.
That no one knows how to use.
No, I must admit.
It's just a thought, because
I'll just
they've got those new hearing aids.
throw you under the
Yeah,
bus.
No, I know.
So.
Yeah.
It's just something I thought of. That was it.
Thank you ever so much. As always, extremely helpful comments. Thank you. Anybody else? No, we all done? Right then, I will re-adjourn the meeting and I am going to, oh no, items for the next agenda. I'm not going to leave just yet. So we've got the car park.
Yeah.
We have the drive, Councillor Bircham.
Yeah, I took that off because I'm still doing work on it and I thought it was a bit pointless if I haven't really got much to bring. So, yeah. Yeah, I have made, because we made a resolution to order more bins and we have made that order now. I haven't ordered all of them because I think that would, that's hard to get all that many bins in the compound. So, and I'll probably want to get 3 of them replaced with, just to replace. And then I've ordered the other 5. I will apply to Breckland to get those on our new locations. So, yeah.
Thank you for that.
If you want an update, yeah.
And nothing else? No? Right then, I'm going to hand it over to Councillor Westby. I am going to just reiterate to members, please keep this discussion factual. There are pictures in the meeting pack for your reference. I hope you all looked at them. And I'm going to leave.
Thank you very much.
There you are, Councillor Westby. You can.
Thank you very much.
There's no handle back there. You can keep it over there.
Thank you. Found it. Item number 12, bar matters.
Right, do you want the lead on this? Oh, no,
I can do, because I feel like I have been quite involved, or of course, Sharon, you can just. But
Or do you want me to?
equipment and merchandise, and then lost inventory and cleaning. The equipment and merchandise,
Yeah,
is that linking to the information from Green King and then coming in and the potential
Wow.
install and
yeah. I mean, I haven't been,
that's not in the papers, but I don't
No,
actually, I'm not.
no, I haven't dealt with the Green King thing yet. So I have to assess that before I even contact them. So I haven't had a chance to do that this week.
So
But the intention is to contact them. Yeah,
merchandise, do you want to
I mean,
defer? I feel like.
Yeah,
that might
yeah.
be administrative.
it is, yeah.
So I'm-
But just
I
to let them
think-
know what we're doing. Yeah,
So I think the intention is Green King done a site visit. And have assessed the quality of the equipment behind the bar, like the beer lines basically, and the gas and everything that's connected. And have recommended an install. If you open an account with them, they do the install. It doesn't actually cost anything. But you then do have to purchase, through them as a company. The benefit of that is that the administrative side of it, where obviously the staff will be placing the orders for the stock. No one then has to mess around going to macros or wholesalers or travel, which obviously if you're carrying stock, you need to change your insurance for your vehicles. So it does cut out all of that hassle. But that is the intention, and Sharon has got a contact at Green King that's sent over price list products and obviously information on how that would all get up and running. The second part of the agenda item 12, which is the lost inventory and cleaning. It took some 20 plus hours for the bar to be cleaned, with the condition that it was left in, which there's pictures in the agenda pack. There's also missing inventory. Sharon has a list here this evening of what is missing. For reference, just a couple of those things. If anyone's got any questions or wants the specifics, Sharon can rattle through it. But there was a display fridge missing. There was over 100 champagne flutes missing. And to replace those items is obviously going to cost money. And that is coming out of the public purse. So I think when this was brought to members this evening, it's actually just to say, it took a lot of time for the cleaning. Should we be seeking to recover some cost for that? And also the inventory that's missing that needs to be replaced, should we seek to recover the cost for that? Because at the end of the day, it's the public purse that's going to be out of pocket for it. And it is a considerable amount that's missing. So have I covered that off, Sharon, or is there anything that you'd like to add?
yeah. I mean, I have written to the previous lessee and sent him a detailed list of what we did have. I mean, just as an example, we had 120 champagne flutes. We've only got 15 on the shelf. 50 assorted glasses. There's only 17 left. There were 200 tall mixer glasses, but I felt as if they were probably classed as half pint glasses because we actually had 185 of half pints. So I think the tall mixer was actually referring to the half pints, perhaps. 40 out of 50 plain pints, 2 out of 50 Carlsberg, there were no San Miguel glasses left, but there were 14. That was probably minor, but 35 out of 52 shot glasses. So basically most of the categories were sort of missing.
Remember the last stock taken?
Well, the stock take took place in 2017 when the lessee took over from somebody called what was his name? Martin Crook. That's right. Yeah. So
I'm thinking there's going to be an element of natural wastage, things get broken, but it's just seem a lot.
but I think the whole point of doing the inventory was to say what was the starting point for the
Yeah,
new lessee, and you would have expected that had he even left 3 years later, you would do the stock take then, the inventory, and then you would expect everything to be put back as was, because it's a business.
Yeah.
So
There are breakages that need to be replaced.
yeah. And so that those were the sort of like the things that were missing on the glasses front. But the electric till wasn't there. And we were told that the electric till was put in the back storage room, and then that the sort of like container out there. So that's sort of like, you know, what happened to that when we got rid of the container, and we don't know. But yeah, there were 3 underbar size display fridges, but there's only 2 under the bar. And then there was 1 wine cooler, but then even on the inventory in 2017, it said not sure if it's working and can be removed if required. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, I think the biggest one was the champagne flutes, really, because that they are, you know, sort of used for functions, aren't they? Quite a lot. So, you know, they would be quite handy.
Why be a certain amount of breakages? I mean, for a fridge to suddenly not be there.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
who's going to pay for that? It doesn't seem like we can pick up a bill for that.
Yeah. I mean, I did send the email out on August the 23rd, but I've had no reply, not even an acknowledgement. So.
Yeah, it's the time.
I mean, obviously, like, something's gone wrong somewhere. But in terms of glasses, how can you prove it's licensee when people just wander outside of glasses? And I've done it as a student, I've got loads of glasses.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one in terms of physical equipment.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's questionable.
Yeah.
And everything else, but in terms of glasses, it's, you know, what's broken, what is
So,
Yeah.
you make an inventory at the start of the contract, the inventory should be matched.
But if that's the case, so
Yeah. However, also to be fair, there were some glasses that were on the shelves, such as 22 Bud Light, 20 Budweiser, 36 Beck's, 27 Coca-Cola glasses, and 11 coffee tall glasses that appeared, which are just sitting there. And they weren't on the inventory, and I need to be balanced about this.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
It's my view that those branded glasses are, to be honest, of no use to us because we don't have any branded products yet. Or no, like, do you know what I mean, for the foreseeable future. And also, if they weren't there, they aren't ours. So I'm of the opinion that those glasses should be returned because they were not on our inventory, therefore do not belong to us. But in the same vein, I'm very much of the opinion that any glasses that were on our inventory should be recovered because it then becomes their responsibility, whether they're walked out with or broken or however they've disappeared, it should be their responsibility to replace them as a business. Any other business using glassware, if they broke their glassware, they would replace their glassware.
Yeah.
And I think the whole point in having an inventory to start is to know what numbers need to be maintained or what equipment needs to be
Particular
maintained.
collections.
I think the best way to go about this is probably to replace so that we have a indicative view of what the cost for that replacement was. So if we now need to buy 105 champagne flutes, we will have an invoice for 105 champagne flutes to show or receipt. Actually, I think if you buy them from the wholesalers, they're a lot more expensive than if you go and buy them in a supermarket like Asda, for example. I don't know if they're as sturdy, but I know they are quite expensive if you go to the wholesalers for your glassware. But I would recommend that we purchase and then seek the recovery of that bill.
Yeah. Okay.
For the glassware. The display fridge, I don't, the till is questionable. You know, we can't, that is questionable. My feeling is if something on that inventory was to have broken, we ought to have been notified officially via an email or a paper trail. This is not working, this is broken, you know, this will be replaced, or I feel like there should have been a communication. If it's then no longer there, but there's not been that communication.
Yeah. I think from day one that he didn't need that till, and he says he then got that taken out and it was put in our storage.
And I don't think we're in a
got no
position,
way
we're in no way of knowing. You've
No,
just said
yeah,
it exactly right. So I think some of it we will just have to accept a loss on. And the till we will, I think, have to accept a loss, which is, you know, disappointing, but what can you do? But some of the things, the glassware that there was an inventory for, the glass, the display fridge, I really think we ought to be looking to seek a recovery. And I think if we didn't, you know, that'd probably be a little bit negligent of us, or at least like a misuse of public funds, because to not try and recover it when it's then going to have an impact on the public purse, I think would be improper. The other thing is obviously the time. If it took the council that amount of time, I would actually seek that we propose that they make a recovery and use, you know, a pay tariff of perhaps our employed, not contracted, caretaker as a baseline, and recommend to recuperate those funds on that basis. Which again can go back into public purse, into better things for our town, because I don't know why we should be at a loss for that either. I really don't. It's very unfair.
What's the position with stock?
well,
Stock was collected, wasn't
all
it?
collected, and we
That was the
paid
previous,
to replace.
that was the previous lessee stock, was it?
Yes,
Right.
which I was present when they took the stock out. Supervise that.
Some.
Oh yeah, the barrels out the back had to be returned by ground staff. Yeah.
I think this is a big reason of why, you know, we sort of made that decision to try and keep it in house, so we don't get to this again, and clean and loose. And we've got it in house, at least we can control it.
Yeah.
Just want to put that in there as well.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you sign a contract. Contract says X, Y, and Z. And at the end of it, if you haven't got X, Y, and Z, you've got D, F, and Y, then why should we? You just don't do that sort of thing, but you've got to pursue it, can't you?
What were the terms of the contract? Do we know?
Well, it was a lease type thing. I mean, you've got a copy of it when we proposed it to be amended, so you would have had a copy of the
Sure.
original. I have got a copy if you want me to forward it to you.
And does it refer to the inventory?
I don't think it does. Does it? I don't know if I remember seeing that. But there is correspondence which refers in 2017 when Martin Crook November, and it does refer to the new lessee in the correspondence that they will take over the inventory. But of course, that's tenuous
And there's
because, yeah,
correspondence with the legacy that they were agreeable to that.
I think so, yeah. I'll have to obviously dig that out, but I did view it, you know.
Can I make a suggestion? And that would be subject to there being an agreement in writing, whether that's within the lease or whether it's via email correspondence, but subject to there being an agreement with the regarding the inventory,
that we do seek to recover the cost of the replacement items.
Yeah.
And also the hours that were spent cleaning at the rate of pay of the employed caretaker.
Yeah.
Because I think that'd be a very fair baseline. And that we contact who was the tenant.
Yeah.
And let it be known to them that that's our intention.
Okay.
And if and perhaps even give them the opportunity to replace themselves rather than be invoiced. If they don't replace themselves, then we purchase and invoice.
But I have already written to them to ask.
I think just to do it a second time, just to reaffirm, you know, that we met last night, this was the position, I think would be right and proper.
Okay.
Proposal.
I'm happy to make that proposal.
Second.
Yeah.
And take a vote on it.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, fine. Thank you. Well, with that basis, then I'll talk this to close. Thank you very much.